Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name's Jacob and today I've got a unboxing video for you guys. So in this box we should have not one, but two 2021 MechaGodzilla figures from Playmates Toys, the 6-inch scale version, so the small ones. Now, they do, or at least they should, actually sell these things in Kmart here in Australia. I've looked in every bloody store multiple times. I haven't found any of the actual MechaGodzilla figures in amongst any of the Godzilla vs. Kong figures that they've had in any of those stores. Eventually, after a while, I've seen these things being scalped all over the internet for stupid prices, but I finally found a seller that sold these things at only slightly a marked up price from what they would be had I bought these in store. So I actually jumped on it and I got two of them because I think this is kind of consistent with these figures. They do seem kind of rare, at least of course in my country, Australia. For you guys off in the US or any other part of the world, that may differ for you guys, and these things might be a lot more common. A lot of these figures actually do arrive quite a bit later here in Australia for us than they do from what I've seen in the US, but these should have been here from a long time ago by now, so that's why I decided to jump on it. And yeah, enough about that. Let's actually get into the unboxing and see this thing in the plastic or the flesh or whatever you want to call it. Because I don't really have very many figures of this version of MechaGodzilla. The only one that I really have is the Bandai vinyl here, which I think is a great figure for what it is. Again, a little bit skimpy on the paint with this thing, but sculpt-wise, really nice, really decent for Bandai vinyl. I still have mixed feelings on this design in general. I don't know if I love it or hate it as of yet, and I think that's just going to be my kind of outlook on it. The only other one that I have is the pop vinyl version of the figure, but I don't actually have that on hand because, of course, I've recently, well, I say recently, it's almost been 2 months or a month and a half since I've moved, so that one I haven't actually brought over. Regardless, here we go. You can already see it there, so finally I can see these MechaGodzilla figures in hand. Hooray. There we go. Yay. There's one MechaGodzilla from Playmates, and here's the other one, number 2, and got a nice big box so I can chuck that away because I no longer need it. Alright, so both of these are identical, so I'm not really gonna compare the two or talk about them at all. I'm just going to put one to the side and we'll talk about the other one. So let's take a look at this thing. There we go. Still brand new in the box. Looking real nice. The sculpt work initially I can already see is a little bit closer to that slightly softer Playmates quality that we've known to tolerate, I guess, from them. Well, you know, some of this stuff's getting better, but this is, you know, could be better. But I have seen some really great customs of these, and in particular the bigger versions. So let's see what he comes with. So he comes with one of those, what they call these things in the film. It wasn't an Osprey, those were the like helicopter things in the previous film. That is a, had a weird name. I completely forgot it. It's been quite a while since I've actually watched Godzilla vs. Kong. I am planning to rewatch it eventually and do my full review of the damn movie because that's been put off for way too long. But overall, yeah, kind of simple, hard mixture of, yeah, like other Playmates, it's a mixture of hard and soft plastic which articulates. The head is a lot bigger on this guy by the looks of it than the Bandai vinyl, but I do actually like the clawed hands on this thing a bit more than what they did with the Bandai vinyl. But if we bring that guy in, yeah, this one's just more nicely proportioned and the detail work on him is just crisper. And obviously this guy has more paint with the red on his back, but I actually prefer the paint on this guy here because the red is more accurate with these little dots on him, even though there's barely any of it. And the silver is nice from the Bandai vinyl, so already I'm leaning towards the Bandai vinyl out of these two. I should get them out of the box. I may as well, since I have two of them, Even though my kind of original purpose is maybe to sell one of the other ones off if they get particularly rare one day. I don't know. Gonna cut some of these zip ties. I think there's only two main ones. And it's one for the tail, I imagine. There we go. So it also does come with some battle damage along with the, whatever that thing was. I completely forgot what it was. It had a weird name. I wasn't really ever fond of the name of whatever those things were. But this is also too big as well. It's not in scale. But it's cool that it comes with something else, you know. Why not? Ooh. He does have a bit of articulation in his legs. And down here as well. That's actually kind of nice. I was expecting these arms and legs to be just solid pieces, at least on the smaller one here. Comes with a rubber band around his arms for some reason. Can pull that off. Yeah. Get the bloody thing off. Ah, ball joints here. You know what? Not half bad with the articulation. He unfortunately doesn't seem to have articulation in his elbows. It looks like he should have, but they seem solid. Same with the hands. But there's a really nice kind of a ball joint combo swivel thing in his shoulders here, so that's real good. I like that. And his legs seem to have a nice range of motion, although they feel a little floppy at the hip. But, you know, still works. Still works. And we got his tail here, which feels like it might be a bendy wire. It's definitely a rubbery material, this whole thing. Feels kind of cool, though, since it does kind of move around, which is very different from, like, the Bandai vinyl here, which, again, if I'm looking at these two compared to each other, oh, the Bandai vinyl does look so nice. Plug this in. I can definitely see this guy, once he is, if he were custom painted, looking a lot better. Flat plastic look to him isn't really as flattering towards all his contours as a nice metallic silvery coloring would be. So it just kind of sits in on a ball joint there. There we go. You know what? Not too bad. Once you kind of get him in a nice pose, a little bit more articulated, I think he does look a little bit better. It is kind of a shame that his spines are still just this solid red. The bigger versions of him don't seem to have that, and there does seem to be some quality control issues with, for example, the tail bit here being a bit raised, when that should be kind of pushed in more, but I guess they didn't push that in enough when they were gluing this piece in, so now there's a little bump there. There's some little things like that. But you know what, for Playmates quality, not too bad. Not too bad. At least we do get the Bandai vinyl, and we will be getting, eventually, the Monster Arts figure. So I'm really excited for that one, because I've had that one on pre-order for a while now, and it looks awesome. So let's briefly compare this guy to some other figures that may or may not scale with him. There we go, we got the bootleg, because I recently did a review of this guy, at least at the time of recording this video, because God only knows when I'll actually get around to uploading this one, because I'm still in the middle of releasing videos that I filmed in June, and now it is September, I think, so you know, I got a bit of a backlog of videos, so God only knows when I'll upload this. But yeah, currently I just recently did a review of this bootleg Monster Arts Kong figure, and it's really nice. And scales not too badly with this MechaGodzilla. I do remember this MechaGodzilla is quite large in the film, so that's not a bad pairing. And this one is meant to be in that like 6-inch scale, and most of these Playmates figures do roughly scale with the Monster Arts figures, so there you guys go. If you're currently desperate for a cheap version of the Kong and MechaGodzilla from the movie, you can get this bootleg, and then this figure for actually roughly the same price if you can find them. There you guys go. Cool. You can, of course, bring in the Monster Arts Godzilla from the same movie. I do really like the claws on this version. I'm not 100% sold on the blue metallic spines they gave this guy. I see what they were trying to do here, and it does look real nice in some lighting, but in general, I don't know. I guess it's better than doing nothing, but the weird blue mouth can be a bit odd at times. It looks like toothpaste. I've seen a lot of people say. here we go. Godzilla and MechaGodzilla next to each other. That's actually pretty cool. The kind of blue and red contrast is nice between them. Of course, I can bring in the Bandai vinyl again just to give you guys another look at these two, because these are, again, kind of your main two figures in this budget for MechaGodzilla. And yeah, I kind of think like the perfect version of this guy would be somewhere in between these two. Kind of the detail and color from the Bandai vinyl, both the articulation and some of the other elements of the Playmates figure would be really nice. Like especially if like this guy had the open hands on him, the Bandai vinyl, that would be really, really cool. And I do really, really like the way this guy's arms and legs move. So that's really sweet. And here he is next to a Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong, another Playmates figure. There you guys go. Of course I haven't unboxed this guy, but I don't really plan to. These figures I don't think are probably nice enough to have displayed on their own, so I'm probably just going to keep them as collectibles in their box. And again, if I didn't have two of these guys, I'd probably do the same thing with this Playmates one. But it is kind of nice to actually take him out of the box and see how he articulates. I'm glad I did. And of course, same with the Jet Jaguar figure here. Playmates, real cool. I'm glad they're doing some more classic Toho Kaiju. Overall, I think if you're able to find this guy at retail, it's not a bad kid's toy of this version of MechaGodzilla here. It does have some of that nice detail work across it, but it's a lot softer feeling than, say, of course, the Bandai or of course the Monster Arts. But I think what really lets it down is kind of the paintwork and the plastic that's made out of. It really just, it hides a lot of those details. And I think if you did paint him up with like a nice metallic finish and do maybe a black wash on him, that would of course bring out the details that are there, even though all of them are really soft. Like yeah, you can really see around the body here, especially with those seam lines there. They didn't really go all out with this figure, but you know what? For what it is, not half bad. And I'm kind of curious, are these things easy to find in your country or area, or are these really elusive like they are here in Australia too? Or at least Brisbane, Australia, where I'm from. That is it for this little unboxing video. Hope to see you in one of my future videos. But until then, may all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out. Bye.